Welcome to Blockroots. I'm Josh. As always, thanks for watching here on the YouTube channel. If you don't know, we love to give out Bitcoin every week, and we do that to anybody who subscribes to the channel as well as engages in our content. So really easy. The only thing that you have to do is click the subscribe button below so that you can get notifications and updates on any new video that Ryan or myself put up each and every week. We're going to try to do this a little bit more often, at least 3 times a week, if not 4, just because it's just a good type of content. I think a lot of people do enjoy the content on YouTube compared to Twitter. So be on the lookout for new videos from us every week on the crypto market, as well as some updated news stuff that actually matters. And as always, everything that we talk about is our own opinion, never financial advice. That's always important to say every video. Also, too, if you have not watched yesterday's video, just understand that Ryan put something up. Cantor and Clark put up a video, more than just Bitcoin, adding a new feature to our channel. Basically, what we want to do is primarily talk about crypto assets, primarily talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin pretty much almost every video, right? But on occasion, we would like to put up some information on anything that we see as far as disruptive tech in the market. Basically, the easiest way to say this is that there are some things worth paying attention to. Just like Bitcoin, just like Tesla, right? If you take a look at the Tesla chart, I wanted to do this at the end of the show, but it's just off the wall here, right? Just since last year, less than a year, from 175 to up to close to $1,000. I mean, there are things worth paying attention to. And so we want to continue to do that. So if you have not yet, just go ahead, take a look at this video. Feel free to leave a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And so again, anybody who leaves a comment on any of our videos will be in the drawing for $100 of Bitcoin giveaway at the end of the week. So make sure to do that. We would love to have your thoughts. So now let's go ahead and talk about the market. Other things that we're going to talk about today, we'll talk about the Blockroots indicator that we have as far as what it's showing right now. We'll talk about the Bitcoin halving. I wanted to look at stock to flow and price prediction as well, and then take a look to is new money coming into the market. So there's a couple of tweets on this. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, as far as the Bitcoin chart, what we see here, right? The same as last time, not a lot has happened, but if we zoom in, basically, this is the 3-day chart. If I go to the 1-day chart, you're going to just notice that we've had a slight little pullback here, okay? Now, whenever you see some downwards movement and a long wick to the upside, typically, you see big players trying to get some liquidity, trying to trap some longs here, and then continue to push down. But we're actually holding quite steady. I mean, the good news is if we were to take this trend line overall, right? Take a look at that. This was the same area that held up the last pump, and this is currently the same area that's holding up now on the day chart. If we were to also zoom out a little bit, quite a bit, honestly, we're going to see that as far as it's the weekly, let's go to the monthly, okay? This is the monthly open back around 9,100, and look also too on the monthly chart. Bitcoin is holding steady as far as this goes. So Bitcoin's not only holding on the daily, the 3-day, but it's holding as high as the monthly on this monthly open right here. And so that's really important that it holds that. Now, if it does hold this, we will likely see a continuation. If you look at the monthly close, the last candle was phenomenal. If I go and take the price of the last candle, basically, right, we had almost a 40% gain over this candle from wick to wick, right? So that's pretty amazing. As far as the body of the candle alone, that was a 30% gain. So last month in January, that's no joke, right? When we see a candle like that, that needs to get your attention as far as not only closing above the previous low, but also to closing above the prior 2 months, the high on the previous 2 months. So just understand that that's going to be something that we pay attention to. This has been the best looking candle that we've had since back when Bitcoin was pushing from 5,000 up to 9,000. Okay, so looking good. We're holding support here. If you look, one thing that we have specifically is it's called the Blockroots Alpha Trend, okay? Now, as far as the Blockroots Alpha Trend, this is basically a back-tested indicator that we have for Blockroots members. Any Blockroots member can have it 100% for free, as long as you're in Blockroots, right? So if you use it and then you leave Blockroots for any reason, but we do. The good news is that when people join Blockroots, they tend to stay because it is just great quality. Yeah, I'm biased because I'm a co-founder, but at the same time, we do strive to have really great quality content on Blockroots. So with this said, we have the alpha trend indicator that has been back tested. And as far as this goes, they're the only other time that we've seen a printed long in the past couple of years has been prior in 2016 in September, which led to the all-time high. Of course, then we had a short, we went down to lows, we had an actual long print in March, just a week away or just days away from the $1,000 candle that got us out of the last prior bear market, okay? So not only did it print before the candle, anybody who bought here was in major profit after that. Now, what you see again is that we've got the Blockroots Alpha Trend printing long again, right, at the last pullback at around 84, 8,200. So this is really good news as far as indicators. I think that there's a lot of other indicators out there that people use that are showing bullish. You should never base everything just on one indicator, but as far as the past history on the BitMEX chart, as far as this indicator goes, it has had a positive outcome when it shows long. We will see pullbacks in any bull market. That's to be expected. We could see a pullback now. Looking at where is price or where should price be, one thing that you can look at is actually the stock to flow from Plan B. Now, if you don't know about stock to flow, there is an actual Medium article on this that I can show in the notes below. So I'll go ahead and put that below if you guys want to read a little bit more about valuing Bitcoin and Bitcoin scarcity with the stock to flow model. He goes and he explains it because he's a very popular guy now. He's growing quite rapidly for the fact that he's very bullish and thinks that Bitcoin's going to be 100,000, I do believe, by the end of 2021. I'll have to look at the chart. But stock to flow is basically just quantifying, right, scarcity. Stock to flow is stock divided by flow. Stock is the size of the existing stockpiles or reserves of an asset, and flow is the yearly production, right? And we know that yearly production, if we go and we look at the annual growth as far as Bitcoin, we have currently been from 2016 to 2020 at 12.5 BTC per block, an issuance rate of about 1,800 BTC per day, which is every 10 minutes we have a new block reward, which is around 656,250 annual supply growth per year for Bitcoin. Now, even more than that, we're about to see the Bitcoin halving, right? Now, with the Bitcoin halving, we know that we're going to reduce down to 6.25 Bitcoin per block reward, and which is going to leave us to around 900 Bitcoin per day and around 328,125 Bitcoin per year that are produced and rewarded to miners. Now, I actually had a tweet earlier today about this, and where I talk about the Bitcoin halving numbers and the daily issuance rate, and of course the yearly issuance rate, and of course at the current price of around $92,000, that would be over $3 billion worth of Bitcoin annual supply growth rewarded to miners. And so we think of the issuance rate, we think of scarcity. In the end, Bitcoin is scarce, right? I said Bitcoin is deflationary. The issuance is reduced to 6.25 block reward. The only issue, though, is that really shouldn't cause FOMO for the fact that there are still $3 billion worth of Bitcoins at current price coming into the market. A lot of money still is coming in as far as the production of Bitcoin, which I think is going to not necessarily create FOMO at the halving come May. So just be aware of that. That's just my thoughts. What are your thoughts on the halving? Do you think that Bitcoin is going to moon? Do you think that Bitcoin is going to pump post halving? I think that eventually we'll see that uptrend, but it is going to take a little bit for that to happen. So again, this is the tweet that I put today. Feel free to check it out and read a little bit more on that. As far as stock to flow again, we can take a look at the chart. I think most of you have seen this chart as far as what the price prediction would be. By sometime in 2021, stock to flow would be around $90,000 to $100,000 over time. Now that's a pretty, it's a pretty big number. And of course, price is under the stock to flow and price goes over the stock to flow model. Currently, if I zoom in here, you're going to notice that the stock to flow model looks to point to around 8,200 average, right? So it looks like in current prices is over that. Current price again is over $9,000. So right now we're actually overpriced on the stock to flow model, which if we do see a pullback, which I wouldn't be surprised at, right? Bitcoin is pulling back a little bit in the monthly chart as well as this support right here holding. We could still get a pullback, and that's totally fine. As I've said before, if I go to the daily chart, market structure wise, I am not worried, right, until we break, below the 8,000 level here. Okay, so again, I would even be more lenient and say 7,900, give or take right here, right? Because this is the market structure. Price could not get over this area, and then it turned into support after price broke back above it. So as long as we're staying above the high 7Ks, 8K, I'm not really too worried about the price. We could pull back all the way down and then continue to shoot up from here, and that would be great. So just being aware of that, this is currently where we're at in the market, right? We're holding steady on a support, and it looks good. It's a monthly support. It held this previous area. I do believe that a lot of people right now are looking for a pullback to this $8,000, $8,100 range, $8,800. And because of that, with everybody looking at that, do we see Bitcoin bounce here and continue up to where we know the next big area is, and that's 10,100 to 10,300 is a main area that we want to watch, because this area right here is where we want to see Bitcoin break above, okay? So this is basically the most traded area for Bitcoin up above this current resistance area. And so whenever we see Bitcoin break this area, we're likely going to see Bitcoin continue on up to anywhere between $11,000 to $12,000. Now, if I were to go ahead and get the fixed range, okay, of this range right here, you're going to notice, right, exactly the same thing. And so this range that lasted from June all the way to September was a really important range, by the way, right? The most traded price was around 10,150, okay? That is typically going to act as a resistance, and it's then going to act as a support after Bitcoin breaks above. So we want to see Bitcoin break above that area. We want to see price hold that, and then we want to see a continuation upward. When will that be? That could take a while. Well, the important thing is that we're currently seeing higher highs and higher lows on the trend. Again, if we were to go back and if we were to see price hold this area, specifically, it would be even better, right? If we could see that price holds even this 8,300. I know I said 8,000 as low as 7,000. 700 to 7,900, that's for market structure purposes. But as far as higher low and higher high purposes, I do want to see it hold around 8,300, right? And so that would be an important place. I'm fine if it wicks below there, but as far as a close, it would be great if Bitcoin could not close below 8,300 in the coming weeks. Again, with the halving coming up, we know that that's in May. As I talked about earlier, we are going to see Bitcoin having the block reward go from 12.5 to 6.25, and again, around 900 BTC issued per day to Bitcoin miners. Well, what happened the last couple of halvings, right? We can actually look and see on the November 2012 chart that prior to the halving, we had kind of a small uptrend like now, a pullback about a month or two out, and then the month of, we actually had an uptrend, followed by a month of sideways, and then another uptrend, right? Now, after that, if we were to look at 2016, kind of, somewhat similar as far as the halving event here in July. we had, of course, another uptrend starting. We had a lot of sideways, and then we had a nice push up, followed by, the week before, Bitcoin kind of dropped quite a bit. It dropped a couple $100 there, a nice percentage as far as at that time. And then after the halving, instead of sideways, we actually had Bitcoin drop quite a bit, okay? So the last two halvings, we don't have a big sample size there, but we do know that Bitcoin went sideways, and we know that Bitcoin kind of pulled back a little bit then sideways before the continuation of the uptrend. And again, because of 900 Bitcoin still a day being issued to miners for block rewards, I don't necessarily see the FOMO in people trying to get in immediately for Bitcoin. I do think that it has an impact, but it's going to be weeks to months down the road. And then we're going to see continuation as far as sideways. So I think for now, Bitcoin can continue to push up, right? But I do believe that eventually towards the halving, we may get a pullback or some sideways, at least for a month, and then continuation after that. And then Lawmaster, Larry Cermak he works for the block, but he actually also talked about today how Coinbase has increased by 81 monthly volume by 81.6% in January, which indicates that the market is coming to life, and it is the first monthly increase since June of 2019. Okay, so again, a lot of people are getting interested in Bitcoin, and that's why I think we can continue to see an uptrend here, even though I do think that we get a pullback or sideways after the Bitcoin halving. Now, probably the only other thing that I want to talk about is the Tesla chart, because a lot of people are talking about Tesla. Now, again, this is the disruptive technology that everybody's talking about. If you would have bought down here, $180 back last year, you'd be in high profit right now. Eventually, we will see a pullback. But what I want to show you is that some people think that we're going to get a sharp pullback. Let me show you something about the chart for Tesla. Back in 2013, exact same thing happened, right? We had a push up, just like currently with Tesla. Well, a lot of people thought, well, it's going to pull back hard. I'm going to short hard. What happened, right? No, just a slight wick down, right? Slight wick down from here. Continued to push on up for the next few months, okay? And then a pullback, but not a pullback that wasn't as far as what people probably thought it would be, probably back down here. Now, naturally, if I'm trying to buy Tesla, I would have loved for it to just push back down here where it was previously off this resistance turn support. But, the same thing with what we're seeing up here. I would love for Tesla to come back down and hit 385. I really would, but honestly, I don't know if we do that. I don't know if we see that. I think if you were to go on the day chart, we could see some type of pullback to maybe as low as the mid 400s, specifically maybe around here to the high 400s to 500, and maybe we only get to around mid 500. You never know. Maybe it doesn't pull back for a while, but eventually supply and demand. A lot of people are getting in this. A lot of people are talking about Tesla. Here's a warning: when everybody's talking about it, you need to proceed with caution, right? Same thing with Bitcoin. When everybody talks about Bitcoin, you need to proceed with caution. So when it comes to Tesla, be on the lookout for that. If you want to buy some for the long haul, be prepared for a potential pullback with that. So with that said, this is Josh. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so below. Leave a comment. Leave a comment about Tesla. Leave a comment about disruptive tech. Leave a comment about stock to flow, the Bitcoin halving, any of these things. We'd love to hear from you. Hopefully this was a good show today. We look forward to talking to you again, bringing some more information on altcoins in the next few videos. And you guys be on the lookout for that. And have a great day. We'll see you soon.